Howdy. Andrew has returned. Your fellow YouTube film reviewer and passionate movie man. Today, I have returned after a long while of film review hiatus, but I am back and I have got something in line for you. I've got something lined up for you. This movie is The Whole 10 Yards, as you saw in the opening to my video. I am reviewing The Whole 10 Yards movie from 2004. It was made in 2003. It's a cool crime comedy thrill ride with a lot of quirks. And it's sort of like analyze this and analyze that, like combined with like The Godfather and Goodfellas kind of thing. And it's a comedy crime thriller starring Bruce Willis as Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, who is now in retirement and hiding out in a disguise, which is a little bizarre with the hiding out in a disguise, but it makes his character all the more interesting and quirky. And this movie is set around 5 years after the original Whole 9 Yards, which came out in 1999-2000. So Matthew Perry returns and reprises his character as Oz, the bumbling dental assistant. The bumbling dental assistant is also returning, but as a new character light. Same acting character, but different career move. She is now where she wants to be, the wife of Jimmy Tedeschi, and a hit girl. But she can't seem to do the whack of anyone. All these, she has a lot of bumbling accidents along the way, according to her flashbacks in the start of the movie, when we get reintroduced to her and Jimmy characters living together when she returns home from a hit that gone wrong. And Bruce Willis's character, Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, is at home being a male version of a Martha Stewart. And he has got pet chickens, and they are hiding out in Mexico, living in Mexico together. Amanda Peet plays the character Jill, which is the dental assistant. And now Oz is living the life he wants, but a little bit paranoid because he has met a contract killer, and he's put up a big armed patrol around his house. He owns a lot of weapons. He's got a lot of security cameras. He's very paranoid about getting hit. Just like in the first film, except this time he shows it a little bit more dramatically than the first. Like, it's a little bit more slapsticky, silly in a way, but it's like, yeah. But they line up the cast and characters of this film. There are three on-screen favorites, and the fourth one is Cynthia, Jimmy the Tulip's ex-wife, who he still has feelings for. But they have planned this movie. They plan a heist, Cynthia and Jimmy, leaving the other two wondering what's going on and totally out of the ballpark. So they organise to have Cynthia kidnapped in order to have a chance at inheriting $280 million. See, in the start of the film, backtracking a little bit to the very start of the film, we see it's set in 1961, where a mobster by the name of Laszlo Gogolak, father of Yoni Gogolak from the original Whole Nine Yards, played by the actor Kevin Pollak, who plays both father and son in the both films. He is released from prison on revenge to get Jimmy the Tulip and everyone involved for his son's murder. He does not like what's happened. He's not going to stop until he gets Jimmy served to him on the platter. See, it's a wacky ride of gunshots with backdrops of sleazy motels and bars, but makes it all the more interesting when they have. I found it was like random kind of settings in sequences of the movie, which was quite an interesting effect. It made it look different. It may not have been as great as the first one, but in my eyes, I see it as the same or better than the first one, in my opinion. Because it delivers a bit more, like, I don't know, just something different than what the first one didn't have. It was very similar to the first, but it had Kevin Pollak, the actor, playing the father, not just the son, of the gangster father and son, Laszlo and Yoni Gogolak. And there's also a kicker in this film too, which we see. It's with Bruce Willis's character. It's a spoiler alert, so be prepared. Jimmy the Tulip finds out his family timeline, and we as the audience are shocked to see this turn of events when it happens towards the climax of the film. But it makes it all the more like the co-starring characters, Matthew Perry's character Oz, Cynthia, played by Natasha Henstridge, Amanda Peet plays Jill. They are all quite shocked to learn this fact about Jimmy's character having Laszlo as his father. Not blood related, but Laszlo raised Jimmy as one of his own. Here in the flashback in 1961, like the opening of the film, where it starts off in 1961, you see Jimmy and Yoni fighting as kids. And they both get given the first dollar Laszlo ever stole. And he rips it in half and gives each of them a half of it to inherit. And obviously things change down the line after Jimmy kills Yoni, because Yoni wants to kill Jimmy, so it's basically revenge. Or they both had the idea at the same time, who knows. And that was in the first one, the Whole Nine Yards, where Jimmy killed Yoni. And then Oz was involved because he took his dental prints, and he was a party to it all. And so, it's quite an interesting film. It's a film I used to watch magically over and over. and I could recite it line for line. And it's a very cool film. I find it may not be the best film out there, but it's one I've watched recently on Stan, on the streaming service Stan, and I thought I would follow up with a film review on this. It's yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy time with COVID-19 and everything like that. So it's yeah. So I'd rate this film maybe around a 6 out of 10, and but I still love it. I'm a tricky one when it comes to ratings of films. Like, and I'm dressed in the attire at the moment which themes Bruce Willis's character, Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, in his new disguise in Mexico, in the whole 10 yards. So I'm just chilling down here in Mexico, having a few, tequilas, and I'll be careful with the worm. And I'm trying not to get killed by Laszlo Gogolak and his team of ridiculous bandits. And so yes, and yes, this what else can I tell you about the whole 10 Yards film? It sees Matthew Perry playing the character Oz, very much what we see as Matthew Perry Chandler in Friends. Very slapsticky, very, very cool. He may overdo it a little bit, but he's great. He's a bumbling character, just like in the first one. He's even more bumbling in this one. They they made a different turn when they made this film. It's like that they've made an alternate future reality than what it could have been after Oz and Cynthia got hitched, and at the end of the first movie, the whole 9 yards. But it brings us back. It shows bringing us back for another adventure, and because if we don't, that's their characters in these films, and they do it well. I was a little confused at first when first few times I watched this film, as to why Bruce Willis was playing a guy in hiding. His character, Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, was in hiding, but he was putting on two different personas. One where he cared about Oz, but then one where he didn't care about Oz, and he didn't care about Cynthia, and he didn't act like he cared about his wife, Jill. But it was all part of the act, and it took me a while to catch on to all this, exactly about Bruce Willis's character in this movie. And it's got we see a couple of extra actors in this. Johnny Messner, who you might recognize the name from movies such as Anacondas. He was the boat captain, like the guy who was to lead them upriver to find the blood orchid. And in this one, he played one of Laszlo's gangsters. He was a bit silly in this one, but he was like very sinister. And the other, which has also worked with Bruce Willis previously in The Last Boy Scout in 1991, Frank Carrillo. He played a bad guy in The Last Boy Scout against Bruce Willis, just like this one against Bruce Willis. But this one, he has a kind of relationship with this. Frank Carrillo plays Laszlo Gogolak's other son, Strabo. And this movie centers on him and him reuniting with his father after he gets out of prison, but not feeling very appreciated by his father, even though he's trying to do everything to honor his father. And it's an interesting mix, and he's a very bumbling character himself. He ends up getting himself cornered in some funny places. He ends up getting himself shot by one of his own people, one of the secret hitters, who gets revealed in the end. Spoiler alert, is, I can't actually say. Nah, I was gonna spoil you, but I thought, nah, I'll leave that one in case you haven't seen the film yet. And for a little bit of something not to know about the film after watching my review, so you don't know every single little detail. And yeah, no, the whole 10 yards is something I watched for quite a long time, and it was good to re-see it again. I haven't watched it in quite a while till I just watched it on Stan last night. And I think, yeah, I think they all did a good job in their characters. My favorite character in this is probably Oz, played by Matthew Perry. And I loved how Kevin Pollak, the actor, played two roles that he did. One in the whole 9 yards as the son, and this one as the father, as I mentioned, as Laszlo Gurgulak. And he pulled it off very well. He was very unrecognizable, almost. He was almost unrecognizable, and he done up well. As a reference, this is a reference to Fierce Creatures movie back in the 90s, where Kevin Kline played two parts, father and son, as well. He dressed up as the older father, and he also had, the son. Just, very similar kind of acting. Yeah. And just wanted to throw in that little reference there. So it's, he's also one of my favorites, Kevin Pollak. I really liked him as the father character. He did a good job. And I think Jill was a funny character too. I loved her scene in the very beginning, her opening, where she retells the story of her hit gone wrong in a hotel room, and the guy trips over spaghetti because she's going into his room to do some recon, and then doesn't expect him to come back in, and then a shotgun's out of range, so she goes for a shotgun, he goes for it too, and then he slips on this spaghetti sauce that she knocks over in a ricochet of events prior to this, and and then he just goes literally flying out the window. She can't seem to get a break. She can't seem to shoot someone. She really wants to shoot someone, but she hasn't been able to shoot anyone. It's always been like an accidental death. And it's quite funny. It's quite, yeah. And she's so desperate to shoot someone, and they and and Jimmy sympathizes with her on that, and then she's finally forming a family with Jimmy. In the end, they have a baby together. It's like she's about to give birth to a baby. It turns out right in the very end, and it turns out their character arc changes once the whole deal is done with the heist, and we get to see Bruce Willis cry in this one. Oh my God, it is so entertaining. No, I mean, I wouldn't usually laugh at someone crying, but the way he does it in his character is so darn funny and slightly annoying. And yes, he gives it all his best. And he's also like a bit of a chicken whisperer in this one, like how the horse whisperers say Robert Redford or Dr. Dolittle kind of reference. Yeah, no, the movie was directed by Howard Douche, and the running time approximately 100 minutes. It was PG rated, and it was distributed by MGM. And what else can I say? Oh, Franchise Pictures also picks it up as well as an offsite production company. And yeah, no, I would be very interested to see if they would come out with a whole 11 yards in the future. But it's been 2004 this one was made, so this is made over 17 years ago. And so the first one was made about 22 years ago. And yeah, no, it's very interesting. It brings back the laughs of the original plus a little extra. All right, well, this is Andrew, and I'll let you go watch the film now, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know what you think of my review, and let me know what you think of the movie. I better get back to sipping some tequilas and margaritas. And I'll try not to get killed by Laszlo Gogolak. But I can't promise anything. But Oz is there to help me every step of the way. All right, goodbye for now. This is Andrew's Film Reviews, signing off. Talk to you in the very near future. Bye for now.